Okay, right. Before I get this review started, I would just like to remind everyone that this is just an opinion on a movie and nothing more, and that my personal thoughts on any matter shouldn't impede your enjoyment of anything. Right. Well, here goes. Move over, Fantastic Four, because you are no longer the worst comic book movie of all. Nah, I'm just kidding, you're still shit. Get back on your podium of shame, you miserable cretin. Deadpool ain't as bad as you. In fact, actually, Deadpool is okay. Please don't kill me. More than any movie that's been due to come out, this was the one I sort of wanted to review the least. I don't know if any of you have a sense of this from my channel, but I like talking about cinema. I really do. However, sometimes you'll see something coming out on the horizon, and you know for a fact that if you don't love it like it's the second coming of Christ and he's handing out free chocolate buttons and year-round passes to Disneyland, there will probably be someone out there who hates you for it. People fucking love Deadpool. And you know what? If you fall into the camp of individuals that are grinding their teeth at the idea that I just described it as okay, then before you write your comment asking me to kindly cut my own tongue out with a pair of rusty pliers, you should know that you are going to love this movie. If I can give Deadpool credit for anything, it's that it succeeds in being exactly what it aims to be. It's a fun bit of silly, sweary violence wrapped in a fourth wall breaking comedy superhero movie, and it's going to appeal to anyone with any love for the character absolutely instantly. It's so good at being the movie it's advertised as that you already know exactly how you're going to feel about it by your immediate reaction to the trailer. Do you enjoy it? Yeah, great. Go see Deadpool. Did you not? Then this movie probably isn't for you. I think for me, Deadpool's biggest failure was in its waste of potential. Though I'm not huge on the character, I was deeply excited at the possibilities of all the metatextual fun and playing with the movie format the film could have had. So much so I actually started an episode of Figure It Out on the subject, but then YouTube gave us a sudden copyright strike on no video, preventing us from uploading anything longer than 15 minutes, and I had to scrap it. Bollocks to that shite. But I digress. For all its bravado of being a totally new take on the superhero genre, Deadpool doesn't poke fun at the cliches of this oversaturated market as much as it should, and perhaps uses a lot of the standard formula in a bit too straight a manner. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that a lot of the narrative exists as just a mashup of other superhero tropes. Deadpool is reluctant to be a hero, just like Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2. He's also got a kind of shady criminal past, like Ant-Man. He gets made into a stronger version of himself through a dangerous experiment, just like Wolverine in X-Men or Captain America. One of his primary motivations is his stupidly attractive love interest, just like Iron Man, or Hulk, or Thor. The film features a team-up of characters who don't get along but grow to like each other, in the vein of Avengers, or Guardians. And the list goes on. The movie follows a lot of the standard beats of the genre. You know, origin in the opening 20 minutes, first confrontation with a villain, villain escapes, big CG heavy final confrontation, all those kinds of things. It also suffers sometimes in the same department as those other movies. For example, the film has an underwhelming antagonist who is just kind of evil for the sake of being evil, sharing a similar problem to Thor 2 and both Iron Man sequels, like for Christ's sake, Killian, a billionaire playboy choosing to bed an attractive woman while he's drunk and partying, instead of going for a business meeting with you on a roof on New Year's Eve, is not a valid reason to put bombs in paraplegics. And Whiplash, I didn't care if your dad and Tony's dad didn't get along. That had naught to do with Tony. Pack it in and divin' be a terrorist, you weird muscular fiend. There are moments of inspired parody, such as stuff like a perfectly suited post-credit scene that actively mocks the ridiculousness of post-credit scenes, throwaway lines such as, go talk to him, it could advance the plot, and a final moment with the villain you can see coming from a mile off that nevertheless is rewarding and fun. But for the most part, it doesn't strive to be anything more than a standard superhero flick with more quips and blood, where the protagonist will occasionally talk to the audience. Personally, for me, I don't think it's enough for Deadpool to just break the fourth wall. Whenever he talked out to the screen, it was fun and all, but it's not that new or unique.
I mean, it's kind of super easy to break the fourth wall when you think about it.
Like, maybe it's a bit of a big deal that it's in a comic book movie, but breaking the fourth wall has been done a million times. Scorsese's done it. Woody Allen's done it. Hell, this technique goes back as far as Charlie Chaplin. It's not like it hasn't been done in comedies before plenty of times too. Look at Spaceballs, Airplane, Monty Python, The Simpsons, Jay and Silent Bob. Now, I'm not trying to hold the Deadpool film to a higher standard than those movies, but I think the character has more potential than just occasionally talking directly to the crowd in attendance. We've seen him play with the formats of media he's been involved in before. In comics, he's instructed reader how to read the comic he's present in. We've seen him tear through the paper, and we've seen him kill the narrator. In games, he's been known to use health bars as weapons, actively take the piss out of the nature of achievements, and extend the length of censor bars. Unfortunately, the movie seems to lack any of this messing around with the format. There's no Deadpool making literal cuts in the movie edit with his sword, or beating his head off the edge of the frame, or hiding in front of the 16:9 cinema bars while the rest of the movie plays out behind them. All we get are two isolated moments where the opening credits get messed with, and another one where he fast forwards the film, and those kind of things are great. It's just a shame they happen so rarely. If you can kind of get past the fact it's just nothing more than another superhero movie with an occasional light gimmick up its sleeve though, it is a fairly entertaining one. The love story here works better than most in that the actors actually feel like they have chemistry and that they aren't just getting it on simply because they're the two hottest people in the movie. Even though they are. Like, by a lot. I mean, holy shit. Ryan Reynolds is also deeply passionate about the project, and that comes through so much in his performance. You can tell he's having a lot of fun with the role, so even when he's delivering some lines that come across a little like they're pandering to the kind of 13-year-old boyish wish fulfillment the movie often seems to be trying to appeal to, despite them being too young to see it, it still feels a little bit of fun when in the hands of someone lesser involved, it might have become cringy. The action works surprisingly well, with no noticeable cheesy gimmicks like shaky cam holding back otherwise interesting fight scenes. In the moments it decides to be serious, it can also actually be a little sweet, and the CG is used pretty effectively. One thing I will say is that I think even if you're a fan of Deadpool and the perfect target for this film, it maybe could be a little funnier. It's not that it's unfunny, there's occasionally a nice chuckle and consistent moments that'll make you smirk, but I don't recall anyone in the cinema getting any real big laugh out loud moments. I know humour is a totally subjective thing, but on the whole, I just thought that while the end product was completely functional for what it is, it could have had some bigger laughs. That might be a cultural thing though, since we here in Britain are all a bunch of miserable bellends.